Okay, folks, we are live. Thanks for joining us. We are joined here by Louann, McCurdy and Stephanie Koonar to discuss the exploration mindset. They're with PeerSpectives Consulting and have lots to say about student passions and how they can connect to a quality career. So thanks very much for joining us both, and take it away.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. We're coming in from Vancouver, Canada. I'm Stephanie and my business partner, Louann. Thank you for today. Just a quick land acknowledgement. We are wanting to acknowledge that we live and work while situated on the traditional, unceded, and occupied ancestral lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people, and we're very blessed to be able to live and work here in Vancouver, Canada. My name is Stephanie, and I'm a marketing professional. I'm a post-secondary instructor, a career coach, and I've been teaching for over 20 years. I've probably taught around over 4,000 students, we figure. And I'm the author of a book called Backpack to Briefcase, A Student's Guide to a Meaningful Career Journey, which we're going to share with you some information from that today. And both Louann and I are Gallup certified strengths coaches. We are both co-founded our company, a training and career coaching company, PeerSpectives Consulting. Over to you, Louann.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. So my name is Louann McCurdy. I've had careers in STEM as an engineer. I worked in IT as a programmer, data analyst, team leader, and teacher, and coach. So my passion is helping people get the best career possible. I've lived and worked in 5 countries, and they're listed there on the screen, and I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach. So we're very curious who is in the room with us. If you will continue with the presentation, but please add to the chat. Are you a student? Are you a parent? Are you a counselor? What's your role?
So our company, PeerSpectives Consulting, wanted to just give you some background. We work with individuals and families and corporate teams, and we have a special spot for education and higher education. And it's really centered around understanding your strengths. But we wanted to bring to you, because the earlier the better, where people understand what they're naturally good at, we feel is going to enhance their career journeys. We have worked with lots of secondary and post-secondary partners in the time of our company. And we also write a lot about, how to help students with tips and tricks, and focusing on the exploration mindset, and meaningful careers is the other kind of element. So I'm sure you are aware of this. Students dread this question oftentimes: what will you do when you graduate? And it can just stop people in their tracks, right? Many students can feel lost and confused and unsure of what the next steps are, and they put a lot of pressure on themselves. However, we know as people that work with students and in the career development field, that it's not the case that you just have to pick one career and put a lot of pressure on that. A career is a journey. So our philosophy is around encouraging what we like to call an exploration mindset. The career is a journey, and even positioning it as an adventure. And I'm sure you've done this with students too. And it seems to be able to take the pressure off when they figure out, well, there isn't one linear path, and it is an adventure, and we don't know where it's going to take us. We also have seen, and you've probably recognized this, that youth are looking for more meaning and purpose in their lives. I've seen that over teaching my career, that students are really interested in working with companies and organizations that align with their values. So this idea of an exploration mindset encourages students to kind of be open to different possibilities for their future. And what we found is that it all really begins with self-awareness and discovery. So in our book, Backpack to Briefcase, we have built a program around it. The book itself is based in 3 phases: a discover phase, a build phase, and a launch phase. And the book itself is very easy to read. It's written for ages that are really in grade 10, 11, 12, all the way up to graduating from post-secondary. It's got lots of reflection activities and a workbook. There's charts and data. There's student success stories and summaries and checklists as well. There's this downloadable PDF workbook. We can provide facilitators guides, and we're really early stages really with this program, and we're looking to see if there's opportunities to partner or develop curriculum or co-facilitate sessions with each other. So this is just a snapshot of the book itself. The table of contents here. The first part is the discover and the build and the launch. And as I said, there's lots of exercises and action steps for them to take. It's very interactive. And the book itself, you can write in the book, or there is a downloadable workbook, but lots of activities, lots of student stories, which is based on real students' successes and what they've done to launch themselves into a career. And the fillable workbook, as well as mentioned, is downloadable. But for today's session, we have a half an hour with you. We really want to focus and give you a taste of what the first phase is like, which is the discover phase. Over to you, Louann.
Great. Thanks, Stephanie. So the discover phase begins with understanding the IKIGAI framework. And Ikigai is a Japanese word that roughly means your reason for being. And you can see that nice balanced model with 4 circles. The red circle is what you love. The blue circle is what you're good at. The yellow circle is what the world needs. And the 4th circle is what you can be paid for. And one's Ikigai is found where the 4 circles intersect.
Yes, you may have seen this model before.
Yeah. So just as an example, a little deeper dive into what you love, which is the red circle. So clues to what you love can be found in identifying, your hobbies, your interests, club and sports participation, even favorite courses. So we have an activity where we ask students to consider what are some of your favorite hobbies. And so we'd actually love to know some of your favorite hobbies. To those of you joining us on the call, please enter those into the chat. And as you do that, the deeper dive question is, and what do you love about them? What energizes you about the things you do in your spare time?
Maybe Logan or Louann, is there any hobbies coming in we could hear?
Nothing yet. There's a bit sort of 30-second, 45-second delay, though, so it could be another moment.
Sure. Yeah, it's nice to see because there's such a variety and they're so individual too.
Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah, the side hobbies. So the goal really is to uncover what energizes young people when they're participating in these hobbies. So, for example, say gardening. Gardening is your thing. What is it about gardening? Is it the science of gardening? Watching, the seed become the seedling, become the plant? Is it the aesthetics of gardening? Is it maybe the community of gardening, or even like the entrepreneurship of gardening? All of these hobbies require like a little more introspection and a little more prodding to bring out what you might be interested in the future, right, in terms of a career.
Yeah, and this is just one of the activities that we would have that is aimed at this discover phase, this uncovering what people, love in the first circle.
Yeah. So the second circle, the purpley blue circle, is what are you good at? And, everyone has unique strengths and talents, the things that they're good at. But how do you figure it out? And how do you put a name to it? And how do you really understand what that is? So one of the ways is through assessments, and many schools do offer assessments. such as, the strong interest inventory or the assessments that are available in Cello, or the Myers-Briggs assessment. You've probably seen some or all of these. And what we use, and we love to use, is the Clifton Strengths Assessment, because this assessment identifies students' top 5 strengths, the ways they naturally think and feel and behave. So just, a very short primer on this. In the Clifton Strengths schema, there are 34 talent themes, and it's all based on positive psychology. So they're all kind of understandable, positive words. They're all considered gifts. There are over 27 million people that have taken this assessment. So it's widely used in all walks of life. And we're also curious if you have taken the Clifton Strengths Assessment. So please let us know that in the chat. And I'm just noticing a couple of hobbies have popped into the chat. We have Andrea enjoys hiking. Tanya enjoys theater entertainment. Gosh, so do I. And Rihanna enjoys reading. So it's great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, so the thing is about the unpacking, just as you said, Louann, like what is it about those things that you like? And that can help hone in on what it is you really love.
Mm-hmm.
So the next circle we're going to look at is what the world needs. And as we kind of said, the research is suggesting it. You've probably seen it in your students. I'm hearing it, straight out of people's mouths, that where they want to work is at a company or organization that aligns with their values. And how do we help students kind of think about what they might want to bring their talents to solving? You might have heard of the challenge mindset, or, considering what challenges are out there that students might be introduced to kind of think about. But we've done this workshop with, do you remember, Louann, with the big sisters and the little sisters, the bigger little sisters, I guess they were about 13 or 14. And immediately they could tell us what type of problems they wanted to solve, what kind of challenges they wanted to bring their talents to. So they do want to be part of a solution, and they do want to, bring their talents to organization. And we need their talents. We need their ideas, don't we? So one place that provides inspiration is by introducing, and you might be doing this already, or it's happening in more and more different courses, is introducing students to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, that are goals that are been set to be achieved by 2030. And there are many organizations that are working on achieving these goals. So students don't have to solve world hunger or, education for everybody. They can join forces and align with different nonprofits or organizations that are clearly identifying what they are working on in terms of the UN SDGs. The last one, what you can be paid for, is very key, because we want our students to all be financially independent. That is very key in having a successful career, a meaningful career. So in the book and in the programs, we shared 3 key ways to get more information to inform their exploration of careers they might be interested in. We talk about in more detail how to conduct online research and using tools like we have here in Vancouver or BC. Work BC has videos on different jobs. It's got forecasts on salaries and what jobs are going to be in high demand. We also share on the concept of informational interviews, which is something that is highly valuable, and they can even start with their own family or friends of their family, or even their friend's family, right? Their best friend's aunt might be in a career that is something of interest to them. So tips on how to discuss and conduct informational interviews. The last one is something that students don't always think about, and it's how to connect to industry associations. This might be even at a clubs level, where clubs might have a chapter in a high school, and maybe it's with junior achievement, that there's connections to the industry or businesses. But there's industry associations for all types of sectors and industries out there. The idea is like it's fact finding, and we want to encourage them to have this exploration mindset where you're finding out. Go and talk to somebody and talk to somebody else and find out what their view is or what a day in the life of their job is. And I'm sure these are things that you are advocating as well. Where we want to end up is we want to have this exploration plan. The goal is for the students to come up with a list of careers to explore. And then from there, determine what the education may or may not be required. If there's any additional education, that might be apprenticeships, it might be post-secondary, but it's starting more with the career and the fit with what they love and what they're good at, and then figuring out what the education requirements are. And sometimes that comes out of the informational interviews too. So in summary, we've kind of just given you a tapas version here of the discover phase, but it's reflecting on these 4 questions we really feel can help uncover the Ikigai for the student, which will help them gain clarity and feel confident about embarking on their meaningful career journey because they have something to measure it against. This Ikigai isn't static, it's going to change. It changes over our whole lives, but it can inform you as kind of a North Star or, a check-in. It can be used in decision-making when determining careers to explore, the education pathways to pursue, and also kind of figuring out which programs and schools to apply to. So we're just wondering if you want to share any thoughts on this philosophy. Is it something that aligns with what you're currently doing? Any comments? We'd love to get some input from you.
No questions yet, but please keep the comments, questions coming. We have another couple of minutes. And again, there is a bit of a small stream delay as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like from the chat that Anonymous has taken the Clifton Strengths Assessment. So that's good to know. It's really kind of cool to see students understand their strengths and make the connection to maybe careers to explore. We had a client who was many stories come to mind, but one I can think of right off the top of my hat, who someone loved sailing. So sailing's a pretty broad-based kind of hobby. How does that turn into maybe a career to explore other than being a sailor? And it turned out for this person that what they really liked was analysis. They really liked taking in all the inputs on what it takes to move a boat forward, like the wind and the current and the destination and what the boat's doing and all this kind of stuff. And they were really, turns out that they began to understand that they really loved that kind of data and the analysis. And it kind of helped them realize that, being an analyst or doing analyst kinds of work in their job was something that they really, really wanted to do. So the point being that hobbies don't have to turn into being a professional hobbyist. They can help you deep dive into another area when you see the connection.
Mm-hmm. That's a great story. That was a great success there. So we are available to support you and your students. Like I said, we have this curriculum developed. We have it can be done weekly. It can be done one-offs. We're willing to explore train the trainer ideas. We have one school here in Chilliwack that is taking some of our curriculum and has adapted it to support the career courses for the grade 10s. We've done guest speaking at a school over a lunch and learn, just to kind of support and augment what you already are doing. But, we are looking for other ideas or pilot opportunities. So we have an opportunity here if you would like to be, kind of continue the conversation and maybe a deeper dive. Are you interested in something like that? We would like to suggest that we can have maybe a Zoom session with those that would like to continue the discussion. We've got it scheduled for January because we know we're coming up to a busy time now. And there's a Google form here. Perhaps, Louann, you can put into the chat the link.
It's in.
Thank you for that, because I can't see. So yeah, so if people would like to do that, we'll just see where that goes. We've done this before with some other teachers out here in BC, but we'd love to have some national representation. And that's it really for us. We know we have a short time, but maybe there's something else, Logan, if we want to have Q&A, or if people want to ask us any questions.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a few more minutes. We have a comment from Rayana. Never tried that assessment method, but does seem like a process I've unconsciously done to figure out my path in life. Do you find that some of these methods, do they tend to reflect the more general thought processes in a more focused, sort of specific way?
Can you say that again? Is it in the chat? Just read that again.
Yeah, never tried that assessment method, but it seems like a process I've unconsciously done.
Yeah.
Is it your sense that these processes are more streamlined, specific ways to kind of go through these unconscious paths?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the activities have been designed to kind of pull that information out specifically, because we kind of hit and miss, right? Like a lot of us, and the feedback we're getting from the book being a success, and from parents buying it, and teachers using it, is like, wish we had this earlier. And I guess that's really our mission, is that we see this as great information to kind of have about yourself, that self-awareness, so that when you do apply for a job or a program or a role, you know what you're bringing. And you know why you're attracted to it. We had one young man we coached, and he said before he went through this process, he kind of thought all jobs looked great. He was like, well, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. But what happened was when he went through this process, it helped him eliminate and actually see which ones would be a better fit for him.
That's great, folks. Thank you. Don't have any more comments, questions in the chat just yet. We have another moment or two. Otherwise, I would encourage both yourselves, Stephanie and Louann, as well as our viewers here, to check out some of the breakout sessions coming up at 2:30. They are sort of open roundtable chats, a good way to keep the conversation going in a sort of informal way. Otherwise, any sort of parting thoughts for our audience, Louann, Stephanie?
Louann?
I think this concept of exploration is really important, because I saw a stat recently where students could only name 15 careers, but they're like thousands and thousands and thousands. So it's much more important to be exploring than to be choosing at this point in time.
Okay, thanks very much, folks. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.